What I saw on the other side. These are words Albert Einstein was never supposed to share publicly. In April of 1955, just days before his death, Einstein gave what would become his most controversial interview. The contents of this conversation were deemed too dangerous for general publication, not because they were scientifically incorrect, but because they revealed something about death that most people are simply not ready to hear. Today I'm going to share what Einstein saw when he looked beyond the veil of physical existence, and I must warn you, what you are about to hear will fundamentally change how you think about death, about time itself, about consciousness. This is the interview they didn't want you to know about. Let's begin with what happened in the final weeks of Einstein's life. In early April of 1955, Einstein collapsed at his home in Princeton. Doctors diagnosed a ruptured aortic aneurysm. The same condition had nearly killed him 7 years earlier. This time, the surgeons said they could operate. They could potentially save his life. Einstein refused. His exact words were recorded by those present. He said, "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." Those words tell you everything about how Einstein approached death. He was not afraid. He was not desperate for more time. He had seen something that most of us have not. He understood something that most of us do not. And in his final days, he chose to share that understanding with one interviewer. William Miller from Life magazine had been granted an interview with Einstein just weeks before his death. Miller brought his young son with him. The interview was supposed to focus on Einstein's scientific legacy, but what Einstein revealed went far beyond physics. He spoke about what awaits us on the other side. Now, I must be clear about something. Einstein did not believe in a traditional afterlife. He explicitly rejected the idea of heaven and hell. He said he did not believe the individual survives the death of the body. But here's what most people miss. Einstein's rejection of the traditional afterlife was not a rejection of existence beyond death. It was a rejection of the limited way. We conceptualize what happens when we die. Einstein saw something much more profound, something that physics itself revealed to him, something that most religious and spiritual traditions have never fully grasped. Let me explain what he saw. Einstein's greatest discovery was not the equation E equals mc squared. His most important insight was about the nature of time itself. In 1905, Einstein proved that time is not what we think it is. We experience time as a river flowing in one direction, past becoming present, becoming future. But Einstein showed this experience is an illusion. Time does not flow. All moments exist simultaneously. The past is not gone. The future is not yet to come. From the perspective of the universe itself, all moments simply are. This is what Einstein meant when he wrote to the family of his deceased friend, Michael Besso, in March of 1955, just 1 month before his own death. Einstein wrote, "Now he has departed from this strange world, a little ahead of me." That means nothing. People like us and who believe in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Read those words again. That means nothing. Einstein was not being callous about his friend's death. He was revealing what physics had taught him. The separation between the living and the dead is an illusion. Besso had not ceased to exist. He had simply moved beyond the narrow window of time that Einstein still occupied. But in the grand framework of the universe, both of them still existed. Both of them would always exist. This is what Einstein saw when he looked at the other side. Not a heavenly realm where spirits float on clouds, not a fiery pit where sinners are punished, not even nothingness. What Einstein saw was eternity. Not eternity as endless time stretching forward forever, but eternity as the absence of time altogether, a realm where all moments are present simultaneously, where the person you were as a child still exists, where the person you will become still exists, where every experience you have ever had and ever will have exists together in one eternal. Now, this is what physics reveals about death. You do not go anywhere when you die, because there is nowhere to go. You do not cease to exist, because existence is not bound by time. What happens is that your consciousness stops moving through the sequence of moments that we call life, but those moments themselves never disappear. They remain frozen in the fabric of space-time forever. Einstein saw this clearly, and it transformed everything he believed about death. In the interview with Miller, Einstein said something that was not widely reported. He said that the fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears. He explained why. If you understand physics, you understand that the person you are right now will never truly die. This moment you are experiencing right now will exist forever, not as a memory, not as an echo, as a real, actual moment in the fabric of existence. The universe does not delete moments, it preserves them. You are not traveling through time. You are time. A four-dimensional being, stretched across the entirety of your existence. Death is not the end of that existence. Death is simply the boundary of your temporal extension. But boundaries are not endings. A line has two endpoints, but that does not mean the line does not exist. Your life has a beginning and an end, but that does not mean your life does not exist from outside of time. Your entire existence is visible, all at once, complete, whole, eternal. This is what Einstein understood. This is what he saw when he looked beyond the veil. But there is more. Einstein also spoke about consciousness in ways that challenge everything we think we know. He wrote that human beings experience themselves as something separated from the rest of existence. He called this separation a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. Think about what that means. We believe we are isolated individuals moving through an external world. But Einstein said, this is a delusion, an illusion created by our limited perception. In reality, we are not separate from the universe. We are the universe and is experiencing itself. When you look at a star, the universe is looking at itself. When you feel joy, the universe is feeling joy. When you ask questions about existence, the universe is questioning itself. There is no separation between you and the cosmos. The boundary of your skin is not a real boundary. It is a mental construct and a convenient fiction that helps you navigate physical reality. But it is not the truth. The truth is that you are a wave in an infinite ocean. You appear to be separate from the water around you, but you are made of the same substance. You will return to that substance, and in a very real sense, you were never separate from it to begin with. This is what Einstein saw, beyond the veil. Not a place where dead souls go, but the underlying reality that was always there. The reality that the illusion of separateness had been hiding from you your entire life. Death does not take you somewhere new. Death simply removes the illusion that was preventing you from seeing where you already are. You are part of an infinite whole. You always have been. You always will be. Death just makes that truth impossible to ignore. Let me share something else Einstein said that connects to this understanding. He wrote, "There are times when one feels liberated from one's limits and human imperfections. At such moments, we see ourselves there, in a little corner of our little planet, our eyes fixed in wonder on the cold and yet deep beauty of that which is eternal. Life and death are fused together, and there is no evolution, nor destination, and there is only being. There is only being. Read those words carefully. Einstein did not say there is only living. He did not say there is only dying. He said, there is only being. Life and death are fused together. They are not opposites. They are not separate states. They are one unified experience of existence. What we call life is one aspect of being. What we call death is another aspect of the same being. Neither is more real than the other. Neither is more permanent than the other. They are like the peaks and valleys of a single wave. You cannot have one without the other, and from a sufficient distance, you cannot even tell them apart. This is what Einstein saw when he looked beyond the veil. Not a destination, not an ending, just being. The same being that you are experiencing right now, the same being that has always been and will always be. Death does not interrupt this being, it reveals it. Now I want to address something that many people wonder about. If Einstein saw all of this, why did he refuse surgery? Why was he not afraid to die? The answer is profound. Einstein understood that holding on to physical life at all costs is a kind of fear-based thinking. It assumes that this particular moment in your existence is more important than any other moment. It assumes that the future is more real than the past. It assumes that prolonging the quantity of life increases its quality. Einstein rejected all of these assumptions. He saw each moment as equally real. The years he had already lived were not gone. They were still there, in the fabric of space-time. The moments remaining in his life were not more valuable simply because they had not yet been experienced. From his current perspective, when Einstein said he would do it elegantly, he meant something specific. He meant that he would meet the boundary of his temporal existence with grace, not with fear, not with desperate clinging, but with the understanding that what he was about to experience was not an ending. It was a transition, a removal of the veil, a lifting of the illusion. Einstein was not walking into darkness. He was walking into a more complete understanding of what he had always been. There is a mystery about Einstein's final moments that most people have heard, but few understand. Einstein's actual last words are unknown. He spoke them in German to an American nurse who did not understand the language. Whatever he said in those final seconds, it died with him. Or did it? Some have speculated that Einstein was reciting an equation. Others believe he was speaking to someone who was not visible to the nurse. Perhaps he was already seeing what was beyond the veil. Perhaps he was describing it. We will never know for certain what words Einstein spoke, but we know what he believed, and based on everything he wrote and said in his final years, we can understand what he likely experienced. Einstein would have experienced the dissolution of the illusion of time, the past, present, and future, that had always seemed separate, would begin to merge. He would see his childhood in Germany, his student years in Switzerland, his miracle year of 1905, his escape from Nazi Europe, his decades in Princeton, all of it present simultaneously, not as memories, as living, real moments that he could access directly. He would experience the dissolution of the illusion of self. The boundary between Albert Einstein and the rest of the universe would begin to fade. He would feel what he had always known intellectually, that he was not separate from the cosmos, that the optical delusion of his consciousness was finally lifting, that he was returning to the wholeness from which he had never truly been separated. And he would feel something else, something that might seem contradictory, but is actually perfectly consistent with his worldview. He would feel that nothing was ending, because nothing ever ends. Moments do not disappear. They simply move outside the narrow window of our temporal perception, but they remain forever. Einstein would have understood this as he drew his final breath. He was not leaving existence. He was expanding into it. The limitations of his physical form were dropping away, and what remained was the eternal reality that physics had always revealed to him. This is what Einstein saw beyond the veil, not a destination, not a reward or a punishment, not nothingness, but everything, all at once, forever. Now let me connect this understanding to something practical. If Einstein was right, what does this mean for how we should live our lives? First, it means that every moment matters, not because moments disappear and must be seized before they are gone, but because moments never disappear. Every experience you have becomes part of the eternal fabric of existence. The kindness you show today will exist forever. The love you express will exist forever. The growth you experience will exist forever. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. Everything contributes to the eternal pattern of your four-dimensional existence. Secondly, it means that fear of death is unnecessary, not because death doesn't happen, but because death is not what we think it is. You will not cease to exist when you die. You will simply stop adding new moments to your temporal extension, but all the moments that already exist that will continue to exist. You are eternal, right now. You do not become eternal after death. You simply stop experiencing the illusion that you were ever anything less than eternal. Thirdly, it means that connection is more important than we realize. If the separation between individuals is an optical delusion, then every interaction is actually an interaction between different aspects of the same universal consciousness. When you hurt someone, you are hurting yourself. When you help someone, you are helping yourself. When you love someone, you are loving yourself. This is not metaphor. This is what Einstein understood about the nature of reality. We are all one, and our actions toward each other have eternal consequences. Fourthly, it means that the pursuit of knowledge is sacred. Einstein dedicated his life to understanding the universe. He believed that this understanding brought him closer to what he called God. Not a personal God who answers prayers, but the underlying order and intelligence that pervades all of existence. When you seek to understand reality, you are participating in the universe's attempt to understand itself. You are fulfilling the deepest purpose of conscious existence. You are becoming more aligned with the eternal truth that Einstein glimpsed. Now I want to share something about why this understanding is kept hidden. There are powerful institutions that benefit from your fear of death, religions that promise heaven in exchange for obedience, pharmaceutical companies that sell you the dream of extended life, cultures that treat death as the ultimate failure. All of these benefit from keeping you afraid. A person who fears death is easier to control. A person who understands what Einstein understood is much harder to manipulate. They do not fear losing their possessions because they know possessions are temporary illusions. They do not fear losing their status because they know status is a game played within the illusion of separateness. They do not fear death itself because they know death is not an ending. Einstein's understanding is liberating, and liberating ideas are often suppressed This is why the full-depth con of what Einstein believed about death is not widely taught. His equations are celebrated. His contributions to physics are honored. But his profound insights about the nature of existence, the consciousness, and death are rarely discussed. They are too threatening to the power structures that depend on your fear. If you have made it this far in this video, you are clearly someone who seeks truth, someone who is not satisfied with surface-level explanations, someone who wants to understand reality as it actually is. Creating content like this takes significant time and research. I study Einstein's actual letters and writings. I verify claims against primary sources. I synthesize complex ideas into understandable narratives. If this approach to truth resonates with you, clicking on the Super Thanks button is one way to support this work. It tells me that deep, research-based content matters to you, and it helps me continue producing videos that reveal what institutions would rather keep hidden. You are not just a viewer. You are part of a community of seekers, people who want to know what the greatest minds in history really understood about existence. Let me bring everything together now. What did Einstein see beyond the veil? He saw that there is no other side. There is only one side, one reality, one eternal present that contains all of time. Death does not take you to another place. Death reveals the truth about the place, so you have always been. You are not a temporary being in an indifferent universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself temporarily as a being. When that temporary experience ends, the universe does not lose you. It simply stops filtering itself through the particular perspective that was called you. But that perspective never disappears. It remains in the eternal fabric of existence forever. This is what Einstein understood. This is what physics reveals to anyone willing to follow the logic. And this is what most people will never be taught, not because it is false, but because it is too powerful. Einstein spent his final weeks working on physics equations. Even in his hospital bed, he was scribbling notes with a pencil on yellow paper. The nurses found 9 pages of unfinished work after his death. Why would a dying man continue working on physics? Because for Einstein, physics was not just a career, it was a portal to understanding the deepest truths of existence. Every equation was a glimpse of the eternal order. Every discovery was a step closer to seeing reality as it truly is. And in those final days, Einstein was still seeking, still learning, still expanding his understanding. He was not afraid of what was coming. He was curious about it. He approached death the way he had approached every mystery in his life, with wonder, with openness, with the confidence that understanding would come. And based on everything he wrote and believed, I am convinced that his confidence was justified. When Einstein drew his final breath and spoke those unknown words in German, he was not entering darkness. He was entering light, the light of complete understanding, the light of total connection, the light of eternal existence, revealed at last. This is what awaits all of us, not because we earn it, not because we deserve it, but because it is the fundamental nature of reality. We are eternal beings, temporarily convinced that we are mortal. Death is the moment when that conviction ends, and what remains is what has always been true. We are part of everything We have always been part of everything. We will always be part of everything. Einstein saw this. He lived this. And in his death, he became this. Now I want to hear from you. Does Einstein's understanding of death resonate with you? Does it change how you think about your own mortality? Does it give you peace, or does it raise more questions? Type your answer in the comments. I read every single comment, and I respond to as many as I can, especially in the first few hours after a video goes live. If you found Einstein's vision of Beyond the Veil meaningful, type eternal in the comments. If you're convinced there's a traditional heaven that Einstein missed, type heaven, or share your own thoughts. I am genuinely curious to know what you think, because this is one of the most profound questions humanity has ever asked. And I believe all thoughtful viewpoints deserve to be heard. If this video opened your mind to new possibilities about death and existence, please share it with someone who might need to hear this. Someone who is grieving a loss, someone who fears their own mortality, someone who is struggling to find meaning in a universe that sometimes seems indifferent. Einstein's vision might not answer all their questions, but it might offer them a new way to think about these ancient mysteries, and sometimes that new perspective is exactly what someone needs. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into what Einstein and other great thinkers really believed, not the simplified versions that get repeated in textbooks, the real, profound, challenging truths that these brilliant minds discovered. Every week I explore questions that most channels are afraid to touch, because I believe you deserve to know what these thinkers actually understood, even when it contradicts conventional wisdom, especially when it contradicts conventional wisdom. Einstein's final months were not spent in fear. They were spent in understanding, in working, in preparing to cross a threshold that he had spent his entire life studying. When he said he would do it elegantly, he meant exactly that. He would face death with the same curiosity and grace that he had brought to every other mystery, and based on everything he believed. I am convinced that what he found beyond the veil was not disappointment, it was confirmation. Everything he had theorized about time, consciousness, and existence was proven true. In that final moment, the distinction between past and present and future dissolved. The optical delusion of separateness ended, and what remained was being, pure being, eternal being, the same being that you are experiencing right now, the same being that will continue to exist long after the illusion of your mortality has lifted. You do not need to die to access this truth. You can begin to see it now every time you lose yourself in the present moment, every time you feel connected to something larger than yourself, every time you experience wonder at the beauty, science, and order of the universe. In those moments, you are glimpsing what Einstein saw. You are touching the other side, while still very much on this side. The veil is thin, and it can be parted, not through drugs or rituals or secret techniques, but through understanding, the same understanding that Einstein spent his life cultivating, the understanding that time is an illusion, that separation is an illusion, that death is an illusion, and that what remains, when all illusions fall away, is something so beautiful, so complete, so eternal, that words can barely describe it. Einstein tried to describe it in his letters, in his interviews, in his final words that no one could understand. He spent his life trying to share what he saw, and now you have heard it. What you do with this understanding is up to you. You can dismiss it as the speculation of an old physicist. You can accept it as the revelation of a genius who saw further than most, or You can investigate it for yourself. Follow the logic, study the physics, contemplate the implications, and perhaps you too will glimpse what Einstein saw. The other side is not far away. It is right here. It has always been right here. The only thing separating you from it is an illusion that can be seen through, an illusion that will inevitably dissolve when your body ceases to function. But why wait? The truth is available to now. Einstein spent his life reaching for it. His final moments were the culmination of that reaching, and what he found, I believe, was exactly what he expected: eternity, connection, being. The other side is not somewhere you go, it is something you realize. You have always been. And that realization is available to anyone who is willing to see. Einstein saw, perhaps now, so can you.